things in life. Hello. Oh, I forgot to put that. So, hello, namaste, hope you are well. And yeah, so Tuesday I spoke about the low back, and today I want to speak about the upper part of the spine and the back, the shoulders, the neck. So it occurs to me that this is too big a subject, so I'm probably going to have to break this down. So I'm going to give a bit of an introduction in this video, and then we'll focus on one area. So in my experience teaching group yoga classes and also doing yoga therapy with people one-to-one, you see, when I think about shoulders, I really think of three main, maybe, not areas, three causes, if you want to call it that, or three subjects that may be required to be considered. So I'm going to talk about, give a brief description of the three subjects, and then we'll talk about one of these subjects in more depth today, and I'll show you a little trick, and then talk about the other stuff maybe tomorrow and Saturday. Is that right? Yeah, we're Thursday today, aren't we? So basically, the first thing I want to say is if you have any pain, discomfort that you can't account for in the thoracic spine, that is what we call a red flag. That would be termed as a red flag, and you're supposed to go and get that seen to. Yeah? So, just saying. So just to be clear, yeah, I'll just show you the areas of the spine in case you don't know. I better hide my slippers first. Hide my slippers from the back. That's one of the things that triggers it. So let's just talk about the spine. So here is the cervical spine, neck, and it's curved in that direction. The thoracic spine from about here to about here, yeah, slightly curved in this direction. And that's the area. If you've got unexplained pain in that chest region and the spine, then you must go and get that seen to. Okay, and then you've got the lumbar spine, which is the curve in this direction. Yeah, and then you've got the sacral spine, which there's a slight curve in that direction. So the first thing I want to talk about is posture and alignment. Yeah. So basically mostly in this plane. So you can have, this is a kyphotic curve in the thoracic spine, and if that's too pronounced, then it's called hyperkyphosis. And it's hard to sort of demonstrate unless you have it. But yeah, I mean, there'll be other names for it that might not be very PC, so I don't want to use these names. But just that kind of hunch in the shoulders, that's hyperkyphosis. And then if you've got an overly pronounced lumbar curve, which I probably do anyway, it's kind of like this. It's terrible. That is hyperlordosis. This is your lordotic curve. So that's the first thing I want to consider. I want to show you a couple of little tricks later just to try and get rid of that. The second thing is tension. So you might have tightness, tension, and that's causing pain around the shoulders, around the neck. And one of the things that can actually cause that tension is your alignment. So if you are, I've said this before, I think, if you're leaning too far over, so you feel the pressure more on the ball of the foot, you lean in, then the back body is going to switch on to sort of pull you back so that you don't fall forward. Likewise, if you're feeling more weight on the heel, the front body is going to switch on and tense up, if you like, to pull you forward so that you don't fall back. And that might be barely discernible, but when you start adding up the numbers for how long, how many minutes, how many hours you're in that position, then it really adds to the tension. So that's another way. And so if you are not in equilibrium physically, then that's causing tension. Likewise, if mentally you're not in equilibrium, so it can be a psychological thing that causes the tension, mental, emotional issues that are just causing you to hold and grip and tense up. So just for example, I worked with a group called Vocal, the voice of carers across the Lothians. So these are people who care for loved ones. It's not a job, they can't clock out, it's 24/7. It's a really tough gig, really tough gig. And I can say that pretty much everybody shoulders up to here. Yeah. So the shoulders and other parts of the body, they all link in to different psychology. So you can see if somebody's, if somebody's holding like this, they're taking a lot of responsibility, more responsibility than they should or than they would normally be expected to. So this is one of the other reasons. So you've got mental or physical and a lack of ease, lack of being in equilibrium, lack of balance. It's going to cause tension and tightness and eventually possibly pain. And then the third area is just from experience, people maybe if their core strength isn't quite switched on, they've not quite got to grips with the core, the stability, the strength, the grounding of that core, then the shoulders can take the hit. So the shoulders are getting dumped with the job of the core sometimes. And that's particularly, say you had a job and you're a hairdresser or you had some kind of job where you're leaning and you're using, it's not like heavy weights, but because it's just multiplied up for all the hours that you're standing here doing it, it just has to be a tiny weight and that's it. So really just getting that core switched on and getting grounded can just help to lighten up here. So Sthira and Sukha. Sthira is the strength, the firmness, that what you want to feel down in the core, that it's keeping you grounded and keeping you stable. And then you can have that Sukha, the lightness, the ease, and the upper body. Okay, so today I'm going to deal with the first issue, which is to do with the posture and the alignment. And then I will do subsequent videos where I will talk much more about this tension and trauma and locked into the body and how to release that and maybe a few gentle exercises about that. And then a third video, we're going to just hit the core, deep postural fundamental core. Okay, so today posture. So I mentioned the hyperkyphosis, I mentioned the hyperlordosis, and then the knock-on effect of that. So often, if you see somebody, and as a yoga therapist, if somebody comes to me and they've got a sore knee, sore shoulder, sore neck, whatever, usually that's a manifestation of something that's caused somewhere else. So, and what I've seen before is somebody with plantar fasciitis who had hyperkyphosis. Yeah. So just try walking about, with your shoulders like that. So there's no weight over there, and then you'll see the tension in the feet. You'll feel it, and if you add that up, so that's one call. That's one the impact of the hyperkyphosis. And the other thing is, we want to be upright. We've evolved to be upright so we can look around, yes, and we can use our hands to do magic things. So if you're hyperkyphotic, then the chances are you're also going to be like this. I don't know if you can see the neck here. So that's not great. So that would potentially manifest in any kind of back pain anywhere down that back line. Yeah. With the hyperlordosis, what happens is you get tight psoas muscles. So this probably isn't so much about the upper back, but it belongs with posture and alignment. So tight psoas, so the muscles that join the top and bottom half of the body, the hip flexors. If that's tight, then you fold it like this, okay? But we want to be upright, so what we're going to do, what's left, the only thing that's left is this. So that's where you get your, oh, it looks lovely. That's where you get your hyperlordosis from, okay? So, yeah, so people that have this kind of strain, headaches, anything like that, quite often you'll see the ears are not lined above the shoulders, and quite often that is also, they have the hyperkyphosis thing going on, okay? So I'm just going to show you a really quick trick with a strap. This is 2.5 meters. I'm not in affiliation with anybody, but this is the one that I got. Can you see that? You can see that. And when I'll just say it says Reebok, and it's got metal. Can you see that? 2 metal things. It's bright light coming in today. But it's the metal double sort of loop thing. You can see it. That's the one I like. You can get the one with the plastic teeth. I don't find that as easy, right? So I'm going to show you what to do with this. So we'll put it behind my back, up quite high. Yeah, and then if you just watch what happens here, this comes across and up. So don't twist it. Take it across and take it up and over. Yeah, and this one the same, up and over. And cross it over. I want you to not some do it with a metal buckle. Cross it over, and then this works well until you're on camera. So once you've got it in kind of place, then you need to just push it up and pull it so it's really tight around that shoulder girdle. Yeah, really snug, snug, snug. And then take a hold of it here like this. And if you watch what happens, when you pull it just forward and down slightly, from here, just pull gently. Try this. And my posture isn't too bad, I would say. But that just, oh, what a difference. You can actually feel it from the soles of your feet. It'll, you know, if you're leaning forward, it'll just take your weight back onto the soles of the feet nice and even on the heel of the boot. Yeah? And also, if you are kind of doing this thing, you'll just feel it all just pulling back. Just pulls everything back. And what you can do is you can tie it like so, a little bubble below, or you can use the little metal things to buckle it up if you prefer. I like to tie it. And you can actually keep that on when you're sitting doing your emails, when you're sitting even having your tea, just moving around. When you're sitting doing whatever you're doing. And you can put your jumper on the top and nobody even knows. So you could actually wear that to work and everybody will just say, wow, well, look at your posture. How is that happening? And nobody needs to know that you've got this secret thing. So that's what I want to say about your hyperkyphosis. I'm going to take this off now because it gets a bit difficult to demonstrate anything else, but it's perfectly comfortable to have this on. So yeah, get this, depending where you are in the world, I got this, well, I don't like advertising, but there's a massive shop that's like a catalogue shop, begins with an E. But if you go in, they don't have them in stock. So basically, you're just kind of ordering it and it gets delivered. It's Reebok, it gets delivered. Costs under a tenner when I bought it, £10 when I bought this. And it's worth every penny. So 2.5 meters, you need it to be 2.5 meters, probably at least. So the lordosis thing, the first thing is, this is nice, quite nicely. If you knock out your knees, then you can see what happened there, what just happened there. If you soften your knees, automatically the whole of the curve in this direction becomes more pronounced, and the what's called the secondary curve in that direction diminishes. Yeah, so soften the knees, and it'll help to start with. But the other thing is, the only like if you sit there and try and tip, it doesn't work. Try and tip that. For me, like that just doesn't work. The best way I've heard this been talked about, or best instruction, if you like, was actually at a Pilates class. And they have this mantra, ribs to hips, and it's quite difficult to actually get to grips with it. So I'm really talking about the low back now, I've kind of gone off piste. But it's quite difficult to get to grips. What do you mean ribs to hips? I don't mean it, it's quite hard. But once you get it, you really get it. Everything kind of tenses, but everything kind of switches on, the core becomes strong, stable. And if your ribs are going to your hips, and your hips are coming to your ribs, and it's not possible to do the hyperlordosis. So you can try that. Try just taking the shoulders down, and then from there, can you get a sense that the shoulders are moving down, and now the ribs are going to slide down and down and down vertically. So instead of lifting the ribs, so you can put your hands underneath them, you slide them down, and you can feel the core switch on, and again you can feel yourself coming back with the weight nice and even on all parts of the feet. And then this, so if I go into hyperlordosis and then pull the ribs down, you can see that it does go away quite a bit without actually trying to make it go away, just by sliding the ribs to the hips. So just keep trying to get to grips with what happens. It's almost like you're trying to hollow out in the chest. Get the ribs to slide down, and that'll help. Time me on. I almost talked too much. Oh, right. Okay, so I've got time. Oh no, I won't. I won't talk about that. I'll talk more about hyperlordosis in another video. So for now, I'll just leave it there, because that's really what I wanted to talk about. The posture, the different. Obviously, I'm not talking about things like scoliosis and bends on that frontal plane. I'm talking about things that have gone awry with your posture. So you can have, and if you're a golfer, you can have this C curve, or you can have the S bend, and you can have this. You could have both. You could have hyperlordosis and hyperkyphosis. And that's really all I wanted to talk about, is the alignment on that plane and what you can do to try and help. And it's just habits, just getting into the habit of trying to get the shoulders back, all the way back to kilter, and get these ears lined above the shoulders. Because the strain, that's 13 pounds in weight. If that's off kilter, that is immense. The tension that you're putting into the back of your neck. Because whether you're sitting, whether you're standing, whether you're walking, pretty much all your waking hours, you're holding this. That's 6 kilograms. Go to the gym and try it with 5 kilograms, just, carrying it and holding it just for an hour. If you have that out of alignment, that's an immense amount of tension to put on the back of the neck. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I'll come back and talk about bit more about tension and tension getting locked into the body, whether it's from psychological or whether it's from postural. And I'll do a third one on the core, so you just do the work in the deep postural core in that one. So thank you very much for watching. And again, any suggestions, just let me know. If you have a specific area that you want to work on, tell me, and I'll feature it in a live. And thank you very much. Stay safe. Namaste. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.